Raj,
Yes.
are you ready?
Let's do it. Let's do
The
it.
Shake Back Media Group proudly presents to you the Herb and Raj podcast starring Herb and Raj.
The way you smile whenever you're holding a LeBron jersey just rubs me the wrong way. I can't. No, I can't.
I know you want one, and your birthday's coming up in a few months, so I'll have something in the mail for you.
Why do I feel like you're gonna send it to me and it's gonna conveniently be your size?
Man, looks like you'll have to send that back to me.
You know what, Herb? I hate that you hate it, but it's fine. Man. Wow, I feel like you're plotting already.
Yes.
All right, Herb, Raj.
Yeah,
we're
Raj.
In the building.
We are back.
Did you ever think that we would be starting off a show talking about women's basketball?
You know what? Honestly, I did not. I did not think we would, but I'm glad we are.
I enjoyed the game yesterday.
I really, really, really enjoyed the game yesterday. It was awesome.
Wait. You know what? Actually, let me pause here.
Yes.
I don't think you got a single team right in the men's Final Four.
Let's see. Wait. Who did I pick in the UConn? Did I end up going with UConn or Gonzaga?
I'm saying before the tournament started.
Oh, no, I didn't. I got them all wrong.
You didn't get a single team. But the last thing you said on the women's tournament was, no, you know what? I'm picking LSU to win the whole thing.
Did I?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me. Okay. I was like, oh, all right.
I don't even know why I picked them, because I was probably leaning towards South Carolina as the majority of the country was, but okay. At least I got that right. I'll take that.
I got 3 out of 4 picks for the Final Four. I missed Virginia Tech because I had UConn instead. And of course, my final matchup was South Carolina versus LSU again, and I had South Carolina winning, so I was wrong on that. But
so do you think if there was a rematch to South Carolina, would have beat them by 20 or 24 again, or would have been close?
No, I think it would have been a much tighter match. I think LSU was playing pretty well at this point in the tournament. The weight of going undefeated and trying to defend your championship is
hard.
Tough. And then beating a good, because I want to say LSU only lost like 2 games all year, which is weird that they were somehow a 3 seed, but they lost to South Carolina, and I think they lost in the SEC tournament, and that was probably 2 losses for the whole year. They had a better record than Iowa going into this game, but a much lower seed, a 2 seed versus a 3 seed. But it was a good game. LSU took control, I think, very early. The officials got involved, which I did not like, and it just seemed like anytime everybody's mad at you, like you're just not doing a good job. And both sides were frustrated. We come to see you. I mean, we come to see the stars. We don't come to see you. So it's that kind of thing. But
speaking of the officials, that one tech that Caitlin Clark got when she just threw the ball, like when I saw it, I was like, I feel like that's a call you make maybe during the regular season game when Iowa's up by like 30, but you don't make those type of calls in championship games. It was not that crucial. She didn't throw the ball at the ref. She just threw the ball behind her back. She might have been a little frustrated, which is why she did that. But I just don't think as a ref, you just don't make those calls in championship games.
I would 100% agree. I'd 100% agree. Especially, and people are like, oh, even if it's a star, you officiated the same. No, you don't. Okay, that started way back when Michael Jordan was playing, so probably beforehand. So you don't call that in that situation. So the official's explanation, I did read it, was like, but earlier in the game, they'd already called a delay a game on Iowa, so they had to call another one from there. But, it was a dead ball situation. The teams just were going to huddle up. Just let that one ride. You'd been bad all game. So let them vent a little frustration in how the thing is going. So, but, we're kind of dancing around the issue and what's really put this game on the map, which is
let's get to it.
Oh, what? So you're excited about this?
I am. I love it. So, go ahead. I'll let you continue.
Angel Reese, who had led the team all year, had another double-double in this game, 15 and 10. And by the way, LSU scores 102 points in this game, which should really also be the real story.
It's a record.
They went 102 to 85. Yep. Kayla Clark, though, I think she had the record for like points, 3-pointers. I mean, she's hit another 8 3-pointers in this game, 30 points. At the end of the game, Angel Reese is falling around. She's doing the John Cena can't see me, which is probably still one of the coolest taunts.
Yeah.
I like it, man. I don't care. I like it.
Yeah.
What are your and now everybody's going after Angel Reese for? Well, I won't say everybody. I want to say it's almost split on both sides, whether you loved it or hate it. Of course, Keith Olbermann came out and called her an effing idiot, and then
who? Angel Reese?
Yeah.
Okay.
He posted that on Twitter, and then later he was like, "I don't watch any basketball. I didn't know Kayla Clark did it. Also, they're both wrong. No, Olbermann, you're an idiot, and you should just stay out of this." You know,
the way I see it is that it's just simple trash talk, which is part of it's obviously really part of the men's game on a daily basis. I mean, you see it all the time. You see guys going back and forth chirping. You see guys doing the too small or Russ rocks the baby. It's just trash talk. That's all I see it as.
Yeah, and
I like it because of the attention it's bringing to the women's game.
Yeah,
I'm perfectly fine with it. I love it. I think it might create somewhat of a rivalry. I think if I'm correct, I know Caitlin Clark has to come back for a year, and
I think Angel Reese is also because they haven't talked about.
So
I want to say she was at Maryland doing this before, and now she's here. But yeah, I know Caitlin Clark has one more year.
Right.
I mean, the fact that we're talking about women's basketball the day after, I think is just positive for them. Yeah, people might not like it, but you know what? I've spent the last couple of weeks listening to random videos of Michael Jordan and Larry Bird trash talk.
Oh yeah.
And Steph Curry is doing stuff right now that he would not have gotten away with in the 80s and 90s in people's faces and doing all this stuff. And we don't talk about any of it. And then all of a sudden, Angel Reese does it and everybody's like, oh, it's the worst thing ever. Right. But when I first saw it, I was like, oh, but I had not realized how much Caitlin Clark had done it during the whole tournament. And the only person I would have listened to any kind of like upsetness about it would have been Caitlin Clark, but then it would have been sour grapes. So
right.
When I was never a really big trash talker unless I was trash talking myself for missing a layup.
Yeah.
But to the winner go the spoils, man. If you win the game, you get to talk. I mean, that's just how sports are.
And I think both things, both trash talking from both sides was definitely okay, and it was definitely warranted. I liked it. I mean, both teams made it to the national championship game, so they made it that far. When you make it that far, you could talk trash. Caitlin Clark did it in the previous game. I think it was Friday night against South Carolina.
Yeah, and she also did it against Louisville.
And she also did it against Louisville. That's her thing. That's perfectly fine. She's shooting. She's playing good. She's scoring. She's hitting like a gajillion threes a game. She's leading her team to a national title. She can do that. When your team's losing and you're not in the tournament, it's not okay to do that. You have nothing to talk trash about. So I saw Angel Reese finally did it once she realized they were going to win the championship. She did it back to her. Fine. It's trash talk. I love it. The game was great. I think this is really, really good for women's basketball. I don't know what the rating was. I think it was like a 12.7, something to that effect. So they got a really, really good rating. So it was exciting. And I also like the fact that, this was LSU's first national championship, and I don't know if this was Iowa's first time playing in the championship game. Okay, I think that's also good for women's basketball because when you look at women's college basketball, there's not as much parity as it is. It's just kind of like if you look at a
team gets on top, you kind of see like certain programs always on top. No,
programs, those certain blue bloods in women's basketball usually make it to at least the Sweet 16, Elite 8 pretty much every year.
Yeah. That's because Raj and you and I, when we first kind of got to the States and were watching basketball, UConn was making it every year.
UConn, yeah. So, I mean, I think there was one or two times UConn won like 4 in a row, and I'm like, come on, bro. And they have like 2 undefeated seasons in a row. And you're just like,
like 100 and something game winning streak. Yeah. So it gets a little crazy. No, I agree.
Yeah. So let me ask.
What? Oh, go ahead.
No, I say this is good for college basketball, and I hope to see Iowa play LSU next year. That'll be a game I'll definitely tune in to see.
I would. I think if you're not scheduling that right now, like what's wrong with you?
Right, exactly.
That needs to be a game.
Right. And see, I don't know how that works because I don't know if I'm pretty sure they have their conference schedules maybe already made, but do they not already have the full, in college football, they kind of have
I'm sure they have the full schedule, Raj, but I also think there's those preseason tournaments that somebody could invite both of those two all of a sudden. So
yes,
I'm not 100% sure, but it would be great to see them play again next year. I mean, it was a good game despite the scoreline at the end.
Yeah,
I think it was a good game. Kayla Clark was doing everything she could to keep it in there. LSU was just too strong. I mean,
yeah,
it was depth versus star power.
Yeah, no, I agree. LSU just got a complete team effort. I forgot the young lady's name, hit about 4 threes on LSU. But I saw somebody post about Caitlin Clark. She shoots too much. I was like, that's what got them to the championship game. Without her, like, what are you doing?
If you say that she shoots too much, I want to hear you say that Steph shoots too much or Dame Lillard shoots too much. Like, no. She was – their offense is somebody sets a pick up high and see if she gets free. And if she does it after 2 or 3 times, then we'll see what else happens. But you can't play a certain style, get to the championship game, and then tell somebody they're doing it wrong. Like, that's just – I do think a lot of these criticisms that come out here, Raj, do have to do more with the fact that it's women's basketball versus men's basketball. So I think that's just wrong. So
And I also know one other thing. I also noticed that Jill Biden wants both LSU and Iowa to come to the White House. I'm not okay with that because I feel like that's an honor to go to the White House and it goes to the champion.
Yeah.
So
that is, hey, I like Caitlin Clark,
Exactly.
There's like a racial element to this that we're kind of dancing around.
Right.
But it has to do with Angel Reese and the way she celebrated it. Because she even mentioned the sportsmanship of the Iowa team. Like, we're okay because, if Caitlin Clark had done all that after they won, I think everybody would have been okay with it.
Yeah.
So let's not pretend. No, only the winners go to the White House.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Exactly.
That's just how that is. So if you want to go to Iowa and travel and meet them, like, you could do that on your own time.
Right.
I'm sure you have a lot of, because none of y'all's doing it.
And plus, if you do that one time, then next year, are you inviting both teams next year and the following year? So no, you just let LSU come, let them have their day. And like you said, if you want to go talk to Caitlin Clark and those girls, go out to Iowa and make it happen out there.
Hang out. Yep.
Yeah.
One thing I did that did kind of bother me, which it's just recency bias when it comes to sports in general, not even just women's. But I saw several posts where, like, Caitlin Clark, the best women's player ever. And I was like, Breanna Stewart, off the top of my head, won 4 titles in a row.
Right.
The best player every time. So, and I hate the way it comes out, because then if I'm debating it, do I have anything bad to say about Caitlin Clark? No. 0%. She was amazing during this tournament. Showed it against LSU still. But let's not jump way out there.
Right. I think we're jumping the gun on that. Now, you might be able to make a argument as maybe his best shooters ever. I would like to see her have another season, next season, do the same thing, and then you can. But Diana Taurasi,
you probably want to have a word with you about that too. But that's fine.
Yeah. But as far as best players, I mean, too many names come up when you make that. I mean, Candace Parker, you already mentioned
Stewie.
Not Diana Taurasi, Breanna
Stewart, yeah.
Rebecca Lobo was a monster back in her day.
Yeah.
You got, I mean, people even forget, what about Reggie Miller, Cheryl Miller? Back in the 80s.
Way before it was popular.
Way before it was popular. Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, I wouldn't say that, but she is a heck of a shooter, though.
Yeah. And I don't like when debates go like, we have to talk bad about this person talking. No, she's an amazing player. Let her win a title and get to the NBA, and let's see what happens before you start crowning her. That's all that's right. So, speaking of crowning,
yes,
we're going on to Championship Monday. Immediately following the show. Now, is it truth to the rumor that this game was going to start at 7 or 7:30, and then we announced our show, and then they said we're going to start the game after the show?
That's actually true. And Bob is actually one that kind of helped initiate that and to kind of push them into moving the game. Because he says, I mean, do we really want to tell many people how many viewers we get on this on every Monday night? Do they need to know that, or are we kind of just keeping that reserved for right now?
I mean, it's like ones of viewers. Like,
my goodness.
The numbers are just hard to calculate, right? Yeah. Let's just say that. The numbers are hard.
Once they made the announcement that the game was going to be like 7:20, Bob said he just did just like this.
No.
They said, okay, 8:20.
Yeah. I mean, they just can't lose out on the couple of viewers.
I know.
Plus, do we really want to do the show like this?
Yeah,
Raj.
I know.
Yeah,
exactly. You went to the grocery store? Okay. Yeah.
So let's recap real quick how these two teams got here, though. UConn, which when you look at, Raj, how they did in the Big East, I think I didn't realize this either. Looking at, they were like undefeated in non-conference, and then just their 4 seed was very well deserved.
Yep.
By how the rest of their season went, but they were beasts to start the year. And then you look at they beat Iona 87-63, and the St. Mary's by 15. Arkansas, they demolished. which that was a talented Arkansas team. And then they went back and did the same thing to Gonzaga.
Yep.
And then they beat Miami in a game 72-59 that didn't even seem to be that close, to be honest.
Right.
UConn is just in beast mode right now.
They are. And I really wish I had paid more attention to UConn in the regular season. UConn didn't mention this, but UConn did beat Alabama early on in the season. I missed that game. I
don't know what
don't
you're
remember.
talking about, but go ahead.
I actually don't remember what was going on or where I was that day, but I did not get to watch that game. And I feel like had I paid more attention to them and their style of play, I might have picked them to go to the Final Four. But I leaned on Gonzaga, and I felt like they were going to make it out of the West, but obviously I was wrong. So this is the question that I have for you. Going forward, starting next year, do you think you're going to start watching more out-of-conference games, or are you pretty much going to have the same, pay attention to the SEC and we'll just see what happens in March type of
probably still to do that? So the thing about it is, and I'm thinking about it football versus basketball, because I do, we watch a fair amount of out-of-conference games in football.
Right.
Football is more event-oriented. You know it's coming on Saturday. You know that this game might not go up against this game. You can watch two football games and kind of follow along and see what's happening.
Right.
Basketball, there's like 50, 60 games on Saturday. They're scheduled throughout the week. Do I want to catch Big Monday and then, I don't know, Tantalizing Tuesday and Wacky Wednesday as far as all the games go.
I've never heard of Tantalizing Tuesday.
Well, it's a different kind of Tuesday, but I could say that on air. So do I want to follow along on all those, and follow all these teams, and then there's like the Big East, which isn't in football. Am I going to try and follow them in basketball and all that, or am I going to do like most people and probably just, watch the rankings? Yeah. Would I like to watch more basketball? I don't know. I don't really get into it until conference tournaments and the March Madness. So
that's what I think that's what I was going to say, is because first of all, in college football, each game means much more because there's fewer games. If you lose one game, obviously there's a chance you might be out of the playoff. And even if I was to watch some of these out of conference games, I don't even know if I would watch a full game, because if let's just say UConn's playing Syracuse and UConn loses, whatever case may be, I'd be like, okay, I watch UConn playing, just maybe they had a bad game, because come March, what if they play a lot better? So I don't know. I might pay attention to some more games just to kind of help me out with brackets, but I don't know if that's really, really going to affect me in the long run, because honestly, when it comes to these brackets, it's luck. I mean, nobody really picks us. I don't know how many people pick UConn, San Diego State. I think it was like 7,200 or something like that, but I don't know how accurate that is. I mean, and out of the people that actually picked that in the final, like, come on. Really? Yep. San Diego State versus UConn?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That you need to buy lottery tickets if these are the games that you're picking. So that was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So on the other side of it, San Diego State did make it to the final game. So their path to the finals. College of Charleston, they beat 63-57. Then Furman, they demolished 75-52. College of Charleston was a trendy little upset pick, I think, too, to start the season.
And I picked them. I actually picked Charleston.
Yeah. See, so Furman, they beat Furman 75-52. Then they squeaked by Creighton 57-56 and FAU 72-71, which was one of the best endings to a game that you're probably going to see in a while.
Dude, when Lamont Butler hit that game winner, I almost thought he stepped out right before because he was like, he had his right foot almost on the line, but then he came back to the left. And I also didn't know if he knew how much time was on the clock, because I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, dude, you got like 2 seconds and you're still dribbling. But I think once he moved to the left, he looked at the clock on the other side of the court and said, okay, pulled up for a sweet jumper. And he just froze the defender. Defender couldn't do anything and just bam.
Yeah.
And as a defender, that really has to hurt, because you're watching that shot just go in and you're like, oh.
Yeah. No time left. There's nothing else you can do. You've played hard all game, and that's how it ends. Yeah. Would you rather lose by 20 or lose on the last second shot?
Lose by 20. Lose by 20. Yeah. You could beat me by 20, because when you lose by 20, you kind of know it's like a slow death. You kind of know it's coming, but it's going to happen. But when you lose on the last second shot, it's just like getting punched in the face and just getting knocked out. So,
I mean,
it's a heck of a comparison there, but
yeah. So that brings you.
Shout out to Florida Atlantic, because nobody really picked them going that far. So
no, No, they definitely and their coach already got a big extension, which will help when he leaves them in 2 years. So,
did he?
Yeah. He got, of course, right after you make the Final Four, you get an extension, and it doesn't matter what happens next.
Oh yeah.
So,
So I mean, eventually. No, like you said, eventually he'll get an offer from a bigger school and he'll leave, and then people understand it. But I mean, that's kind of what you work for in a coach. You start somewhere and you just kind of build your way up. So.
Yeah. Well, he started from the bottom. Now he's here.
Are you going to say that every show?
Depends on what you say every show to lead me into that.
Because I'm kind of setting you up for these. Okay.
Yes. I mean, you're like, here you go. And I'm like, I guess I got to say it. I don't really have a choice.
Okay.
Here.
I'm throwing the alley-oops. I get it.
Yes.
All right.
So that brings us into the game. UConn versus San Diego State. UConn is one of the biggest favorites in this game at 7.5.
They're a 7.5 favorite.
Everybody by double digits. Even the Miami game when they went on a run, you just didn't feel like they were going to get back into the game.
Right.
So it's like, what reason would you have to not pick UConn to win this one?
Honestly, only luck. And another reason. Drake placed 2 separate bets on UConn to win. I think he gets if they win by 6, he gets a certain amount of money. But if they win by 10 or 11, he gets a certain amount of money. And we all know whenever Drake places a bet on any team, you usually want to pick the opposite. Other than that, I mean, when you look from top to bottom, offense, defense, size, shooting, I mean, UConn has all the checks in their boxes. So, I mean, I don't see why anybody would pick San Diego State, and they've kind of been clawing and biting and just scratching their way into these games and winning. I mean, like you mentioned, UConn's pretty much won all the games by at least 10 points or more. And even you mentioned, even the Final Four against Miami was never really in that game. They were fighting their way to try to get back into it, but UConn had prevailed then too. So, I mean, I don't see anybody other than people going to San Diego State or living in San Diego. They might pick San Diego State, obviously, but I think UConn wins this game by 10, to be honest with you.
Yep. So what does that say about how much the regular season, to get a 5 versus 4 matchup like this? First off, do you think ratings wise, what are you looking at tonight?
Tonight?
Yeah.
See, I'm not very versed with the rating scale. I don't know what's good, bad. We said the women.
Do you think a lot of people are tuning in for this game because it's a national championship, or do you think UConn versus San Diego is not sexy enough for them?
I think people are turning in simply because it's a Monday night game. There's no NBA games tonight. There might be some baseball games on, and it is a national championship game. That's the main reason why people are going to watch. And they do want to see a nice competitive game, which I think it will be maybe for early on in the first half. But I think once that second half kicks in and UConn just starts to go into beast mode, that they just kind of put the foot on the gas and they're not going to let up. So,
yeah, I tend to agree. It's I want to have a reason. First off, I just really want a good game tonight, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not rooting for either team, really. No bracket wins or losses for me, so it's really not going to matter. So I just want to see a good game. I do think UConn wins. San Diego State, they really need to muck this game up, keep it low scoring. I think don't let UConn pull away at any moment, and that's their best shot to win.
I agree.
It's Jim Nance's last game too, calling it.
Yep. So shout out to Jim Nance. I know you're listening. Yep.
Yes. Yep. Is there any truth to the rumor that you might be in the running to be his successor?
Hold on. I have been told that I cannot discuss that rumor that you just mentioned. So sorry. I can't even tell my brother.
I'm your brother and you can't tell me? That's fine.
I mean, I wish you the best of luck on this podcast though.
Wow. So it's the Herb and Herb podcast coming up shortly?
I didn't say that. I just hope you know another Raj.
Well, I got to redo the graphics and everything.
I'm just playing.
That's hardcore. So when you look at
there's no truth to that rumor. I will be here. I'll be here for at least another year or so.
At least, wow. Are you not going to be my brother after a year? What's going on?
Oh, come on. Tier. Come on.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So, what are you going to remember most about this tournament when it's almost over?
I would say probably thinking about the 4 teams that actually ended up in the Final Four as opposed to what everybody thought was going to happen is something that I'll remember. I'll remember Lamont Butler's shot. Honestly, and I hate to bring this up, and I know you're going to smile when I say it, I will remember how bad we played or how bad we shot the ball against San Diego State to lose that game. I'll think about shout out to Brandon Miller. Obviously, he declared for the draft. I'll think about his 3 of 19 shooting in that game and wishing and hoping that had we shot a little bit better, we would have won that game. And I think we could have beat Creighton too. But yeah, there's a few things, but probably our lack of good shooting in that one last game is gonna stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. And who was the other Bama player that just declared for
Noah Clowney?
Clowney also, and then we had a transfer as well, and then a transfer in, I think, too. I think
we got
go ahead.
No, we got the transfer in from Wichita State. I think it's Jake.
Right.
I hope I pronounced his name. Jake Walton. We got him in. I think JQ declared, but he's maintaining college eligibility, which is very smart because he might be. I don't know any. I haven't looked at any mock drafts, but he might be late second round if he does get selected. That's a big if. So I think his size will be the main concern. He is like 6 feet 6'1". Yeah. So I like the fact that he maintained his eligibility so he can come back. Same with Bediako, I think.
8th year of playing, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Did Bediako put his name in the hat too?
He did. Not the last I've seen.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
I think next year's group kind of looks like a solid but unspectacular group.
Yeah.
You know, like you wouldn't be surprised, like a third or fourth in the SEC somehow kind of team.
I was already thinking that. I don't think we'll win the SEC next year, but I think we'll probably get like a 5 or 6 pick in the NCAA tournament, something like that. But we'll be good enough to have a nice record, but not like nothing like – I'm not going to say nothing like, but not as good as this year's team. I think we're going to slip a little bit maybe when it comes to shooting, but if we make it into the tournament, things could get interesting. And, of course, this is us talking on April the 3rd, 2023, so we got almost another year to kind of look forward to that. So,
yep. So, in the immortal words of my favorite brother from the same mother, we'll see what happens. T-shirt alert. All right.
Yep.
So, seeing what happens, we're going to transition into a little NBA. And I say
don't even
start off. Huh?
With what? Start off with what?
Talking about the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks.
I was not thinking about that, but we can.
All right. We will do the Lakers.
Yes.
Minute.
All right.
And a half.
Where's Mike at? Mike needs to witness this.
Mike has totally deserted us tonight. No, Mike.
Oh, man.
Like, the third member of our show has decided he does not love us anymore. He is not listening tonight, and he's going to miss the Lakers minute and a half.
All right.
So you ready?
Am
3,
I?
2, and 1.
All right. So the Lakers actually had a very good game yesterday against Houston. I hate to bring this up, but Houston actually beat the Lakers the last time they played. Anyway, Lakers won by 25 yesterday. AD had a huge game, 40 points, 9 rebounds. LeBron put up a triple-double. What a surprise. With that win and some other losses around the league yesterday, the Lakers now stand at 7th place in the Western Conference, which is very, very good. The weird thing here is, and the interesting thing here is, the Lakers have a really, really interesting, tough games coming up in the schedule. Tomorrow, here goes the rest of the Lakers' remaining schedule. Tomorrow, they play at Utah. Wednesday, they play the Clippers. I don't want to say at the Clippers. It's going to be in LA. That can go either way. Friday night, they host Phoenix. And then Sunday, they host Utah. What I don't like about the schedule is that Tuesday and Wednesday are going to be back-to-back games. The Lakers are known for sitting maybe AD and both LeBron on one of these games. If it was up to me, I would say let them play Tuesday against Utah, the game that I know we can win. If you want to rest them Wednesday night, we can, and just take the L and then have them come back Friday, and hopefully we beat Phoenix, and then hopefully we beat Utah on Sunday, and then we end up – I think there's a possibility we can get up to spot number 6. It depends on what happens with the Clippers and the Warriors there. And speaking of the Warriors, I know they're not included in the minute, but I think Andrew Wiggins is things are looking up for Andrew Wiggins, so I think he's going to come back pretty soon, maybe within another week or so. But the Lakers are in 7th right now. I like what I see. Wow. Right on time.
You're right on time. They are a scary team. When AD and LeBron get it going,
right.
That's a tough matchup for any other team.
Yeah, that's what I said, and that's why I mentioned the fact that they have back-to-backs coming up, because I know I really don't see them taking the chance of playing both of them, because they're thinking, like, even if we lose one of these games, we'll still be a 7th or 8th seed with the way the other teams are playing. So
right.
I think they'll both sit out Wednesday, because that's the game that even if they both played, we still might lose to the Clippers, because we haven't beat the Clippers in a couple of years. So maybe they take that day off and come back strong Friday night to host Phoenix, because we can't really afford to lose the back-to-back, the Clippers and the Phoenix.
Right.
We don't want to end up in the 9-10. I like us where we are in the 7-8. So
7-8, because only having to win one game to get in with LeBron and AD, I think that's great. If you get the 7-8 and you win that first game, it does get you, I think, another couple extra days of rest before getting into a series. And I think what you say, you mentioned this before, if you get into the 7 seed, but the Grizzlies get back into 2, that's a tough first round. You'd almost rather
Lakers Grizzlies? Lakers Grizzlies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the Grizzlies are playing well, obviously the number 2 in the West, they're a tough team, but we'll see. The Warriors continue to blow games left and right. Like Jokic didn't even play. Lose a game to Denver, so you have no idea what's coming up with them.
But I feel like the Warriors are going to be okay, especially once they get Andrew Wiggins back. I think the Warriors will be okay in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think if he does, and I hope everything's going all right with him. There's a lot of rumors flying around about what's going on in his personal life. Yeah, they're all rumors, man. I hope that you're okay, Wig. I hope everything is going all right for him at home.
I agree.
The thing to me, it's funny. The biggest West story to me right now,
Dallas,
is still Dallas.
Yeah,
and Kyrie Irving. They were in the 4 spot when they traded for him,
right?
And now they just lost to Atlanta yesterday.
Right.
They cannot buy a win, which is sad because Kyrie is playing well.
Right.
He's playing really well when Luka's not on the floor.
Right.
And it's like when you look at it, you can't put everything at his feet. But this is awful. This is just awful. You're guaranteed a losing record for the year now.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because I don't want to blame Kyrie for everything, but I think it's what they gave up to get Kyrie is what's really hurting them, which was some good players role players on their defensive side. We all know Kyrie and Luka aren't the best defensive players. They focus more on offense, which is pretty much the way the league has been trending the past few years.
I like the way you put that. They focus more on offense, a.k.a. they don't play any defense.
They don't play defense.
Go ahead.
So I think it's an overall problem with the Mavericks. I don't want to go out and say ever since they got Kyrie, because you're creating this narrative that it's all Kyrie's fault, which it's not. It's a team effort. They're just not focusing on as much on defense, and they don't have the same type of defensive help that they had back when they had Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, and who was the other guy? Was there one more?
No, those are the 2 in the draft picks. But it was basically they traded. Now, if trading away one defensive player sinks your whole defense, your defense wasn't great to begin with.
Right. I agree.
Was he holding down Now, was he a great player on defense? Obviously, yes. And you did go for a net negative there. But there still has to be something else you can do schematically. Now, all's not lost for Dallas, but you're in a position where Kyrie does want to be a free agent, and it's like you have to sign him because of what you've given up for him. But the results are terrible. Like what are you going to do?
Yeah. I don't know. And I also heard something today, or I saw something earlier about them possibly shutting down Kyrie and Luka for the rest of the season. Which, even if those rumors are coming out, you're already telling people that we're not going to make the play-in, we're not going to make the playoffs, which would be a disaster. If that is to happen and they don't make the play-ins, do you see is there a possibility that they try to move Kyrie or Kyrie leaves? Or how does that even work?
He's going to be a free agent, so there is no moving Kyrie.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, so it's kind of like it just is what it is. But, they have the Kings, the Bulls, and the Spurs are the last 3 games.
Yeah.
They are a game behind the Thunder to even make the play-in. The Thunder have the Warriors, the Jazz, and the Grizzlies. Having the Grizzlies last is interesting because if the Grizzlies can't move up or down, they may play nobody in that game.
Right.
But that's who you're chasing from a game behind for the last spot. So if you shut them down with 3 to go, you're essentially giving up. But you would have liked to see them win yesterday against Atlanta and be in a better spot.
I agree. I'm surprised they lost that game. And why are they going to overtime with Atlanta? That's a whole nother question. And like you mentioned, they host the Kings on Wednesday. That's a game that they could really, really lose. And then they play the Bulls Friday. That game could go either way. And if they play really, really bad on Sunday, the Spurs might actually be able to beat them. So I don't know. I think they're going to go 2-1. I think they beat the Bulls and the Spurs and lose to the Kings. But even with that said, I don't know what's going to happen with the teams above them. So I'm saying all that to say that I don't think the Mavericks are going to make the play-in.
Right.
I think they're going to be looking from the outside in. So it's going to be disappointing, especially when you see where Jalen Brunson is right now in the Knicks, and he's having a monster season. And had you just
paid him,
yep.
You keep him, you keep Dorian Finney, and then like talked about before, at the end of this year, you get an extra draft pick because like whatever happened with Porzingis trade kind of finally they pay the final toll on that one. You have another draft pick that you're allowed to package into trades, so you can get Luka another star this offseason. Right. But they kind of jumped the gun, and he did, basically say, hey, like this needs to happen now. He signed off on Kyrie, and like I said, we don't blame Kyrie for it, but it's been bad.
Yep, it has been. It has been. I think we can all agree on that too.
Yep. So, do you think then? So, if you say the Mavericks don't make it, obviously the Jazz don't care. The Trailblazers have already shut down. My boy Dame. So you're thinking that the top 10 is set the way it is. Maybe Josh in position, but
I think for the most part, I think the top 10 is set. I kind of have a feeling that Golden State will move up into 5, and I think Golden State and the Clippers might switch. Other than that, you know what? Let me resend that statement. I think 5, 6, and 7 are going to change a little bit because the Lakers are in the 7th spot, Clippers in 5, Golden State in 6. So yeah, something's going to happen within 5 through 7. But for the most part, 1, 2, or 3 is going to stay the same because Memphis is 2 games up Sacramento, and I don't see like Memphis losing the rest of their games.
Right. And Nuggets are 3 games up on them. So
yeah, the Nuggets are 3. So the Nuggets have the division. They could probably rest Joker if they want to. I don't know if they are, but excuse me. And then as far as the 8, 9, 10, it's pretty much going to stay the same. They might slide a little bit, but I'm just hoping that the Lakers overall get that 7th spot.
Hey! We already had the Lakers been in,
and I hope they beat whoever's in 8th at the time, and they get in the playoffs.
Yeah. How? What do you think about the whole KD situation now that he's come back a little earlier before the end of the season? How scared are you of the Suns in the playoffs?
I would be scared of them. I think they're one team that can pose a real threat to the Lakers, since the Lakers are probably the most dominant team in the league. I think. No, in all seriousness, I think it's just really hard.
Whoa! In all seriousness, I didn't agree to that.
I mean, to answer your question, they are a threat. I mean, having Devin Booker and Kevin Durant on the same team, 2 guys that can give you probably 30 a night if they really tried, especially in the playoffs, that's really scary. I don't think their bench is as strong as it used to be back before the trade, but as long as KD and Devin Booker can both stay healthy, especially, and I didn't even mention Chris Paul. Having Chris Paul out there as a point guard, I think the Phoenix is going to make a really deep run in the West.
That would be, if the way the standings look right now, the Suns versus Clippers, if everybody's healthy, would be a crazy first round.
That would be a crazy first round match. Can you imagine Russ going at KD?
Yep.
Oh man, that would be a really good matchup, and it's kind of like a matchup we want to see. So, especially for the Lakers fans, you kind of want to see one of those guys get knocked off early. Let me ask you this: out of the top 3 guys in the West, who do you think would be the easiest?
The Kings.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
To knock out.
To get knocked out, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, out of the top 3, probably the Kings.
Right.
Youth is not on. I mean, they still a young team getting into the playoffs. Don't play any defense whatsoever. Although, like the Nuggets and Grizzlies defense fails them at times. So
yeah,
I think like it's the Kings Warriors first round series is probably really good for the Warriors with their experience. Like you said, if Mike is back.
Mike, that's what I'm talking about. They're just playing to see who's going to lose to the Lakers. That's what I'm talking about, Mike. Mike's there when you need him. I knew it. I knew Mike would show up and have my back.
Yay, Mike. Great. Thanks.
Okay, Herb, let me ask you this. How far do you think the Lakers go? When you're looking at everything the way it is right now, how do you think they get to the first round, lose in the first round, second round?
Lose in the first round.
Why would you say that out loud?
I mean, I think the play-in is almost a shoe-in.
That was oh my gosh.
Because the Lakers in a 1-game scenario, I take them every time. Yeah. I just think over a 7-game series they get worn down.
Yeah, that's what I'm nervous about. I mean, what was it like the year after they won the championship? I think it's 2021 when they played Phoenix. They had Phoenix up 2-1 in the first round, and then AD got hurt, and everything went south after that. So that's kind of what I'm nervous about. And AD did get hurt this past Saturday, I think, or Friday. I'm sorry.
Somebody was texting me, and they were not very happy about it.
Oh gosh! So,
but he stayed in the game.
He stayed in the game. He had a monster game yesterday against Houston, but I feel like he aggravated it a little bit. So I'm like, I just want to kind of get through this next week of games and just see where we end up at.
Forgive him, LeBron. Herb doesn't know any better. Wow, wow.
Oh man.
Jeez. The attacks on my character here.
Yeah.
So, well, that's a lot of West talk. You got to take at least a look at the East.
Yep.
So the Bucks may get the number 1 seed. They're still fighting for that. But that game against the Celtics,
I think Boston beat it. Boston beat them twice this year pretty badly.
Oh.
I think I don't remember the score of the first game, but Boston whooped them up by like 40 the other day. And I checked the roster. I was like, yeah, Giannis played that game. So I have no idea what happened. I didn't watch the game.
Middleton played this last game. So there's no excuse. And it was at home. I mean, you can't. They did come back and beat the 76ers. They still have a 2-game lead on the Celtics. To try and get the best record. And this is something they actually want in case it does go to a 7-game series. They want that 7th game to be in Milwaukee. But man, that was embarrassing, Ron. And a chance to maybe put a stamp on it, but
And keep in mind, this is one reason why I picked Boston to win the East this year. I think they're younger talent, that younger core, and Jaylen Brown and Tatum. I'm just taking Boston. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna go into details, but I'm taking Boston.
I'm picking the Bucks because I'm rooting for them, but I can fully admit that the Celtics, I think, are the better team. Yeah, and it's interesting that the Sixers are trying to get into this little argument. But I just don't see anybody outside those top 3 like winning the East.
No.
Seeing it being close.
I really, really like Cleveland. I think they got a nice young team, and I think they can kind of knock on the door and get in there eventually over the next few years. But it's not going to happen this year.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen this year. And there's nobody. I can't believe the Nets are still in the 6th spot.
I couldn't believe that either. I saw that today, and I was like, "Wow, how about that?" After everything that's going on with them, especially over the past few years, you're like. For them to be in 6, that's not bad. Not bad. Yeah. So shout out to the Nets.
And you think management's like, what are you guys even doing? And and to me, it says something more about like the Heat and the Hawks. How inconsistent have you been to where a team over the last year has traded away its 3 best players, and then its 3 best players this year, 2 are gone, and 1 is Ben Simmons. So
I know.
Like, what does it say about your teams that you can't get past into that spot in the guaranteed spot in the playoffs?
And did they really shut down Ben Simmons, or did they just say, hey, if you're not playing, I don't think anybody will notice anyway?
That was my thing. He wasn't playing before they shut him down.
Right.
And nobody seemed to care. So it was like, if he played or didn't play, it doesn't make any impact in the standings now. So
Ben Simmons was like, so I can basically do what I was doing. Yeah, you can just chill out. You can come. If we would appreciate it if you come to the game to sit with the team, but other than that, you're good.
Yeah, unless you're gonna dress like you normally dress, then never mind. Don't even. So other than that, man, the East is like the West is a jumbled mess, and there's like several teams, from 1 to like 6 where you could see them winning it. In the East, it seems more like let's just get to the Bucks Celtics conference finals and let that one shake out. So. All right, transitioning. I got to work on my transitions, right? Transition.
Yeah, don't do that anymore. Don't do that anymore. Okay, yeah.
So the one report, this isn't even news, so this tells you how bad it is. We're just giving out rumors. The Titans are trying to trade into the 3 spots.
Really?
In the NFL draft. Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously it's just a rumor. Don't take anything that I say as seriousness, but
what do we know what pick the Titans have right now?
Yeah, not number 3.
Yeah, I got that far, genius. I don't even know. Never mind. I should know you better by now. It's been almost 42 years.
Oh, shoot. Has it been? Is your birthday coming up?
Yeah. All right, so yeah, the Titans are trying to get in the 3 spot, which lets you know that they're trying to get one of these QBs.
Which is interesting because the Colts are in the 3 spot and they need a QB.
They definitely need a QB, yeah.
And the Titans are at pick 11.
Okay.
So if you're the Colts and you trade out of it, that means you really don't like Will Levis or Anthony Richardson.
I was about to say, if you're the Titans and you stay at 11, there's a chance. Who do you think would be left? I think it would be Will Levis. Because like Anthony Richardson's getting a lot of talk about his combine performance and his size. And
you talking about would he be available at 11?
Yeah. Do you think out of the 4 quarterbacks being talked about, do you think any of them will be ready, still available at 11?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, I could see Richardson.
Okay.
Richardson's just an enigma. I think Levis is going to go earlier, but you're going to have so let's say the top 3 teams all need quarterbacks. So you would think that 3 of them go from there with the Colts too, is right. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I guess the Cardinals have the 3 spot. I think I'm reading a draft where they don't. So that makes more sense. I think the Colts are 4?
Yep.
I still think in the top 4, I think the Colts have to get no, the Titans have Malik Willis. Oh yeah. So Mike is saying, do they like? No, I don't see Malik Willis. So this is what Mike's saying. I just don't see Malik Willis as your guy. You didn't see, and to be fair to him though, the Titans didn't have a good offense last year, and they had no wide receivers, so it was tough. To even do. But I don't see Willis being the deal breaker there. And I think I misspoke. The Cardinals are actually in the 3 spot, and the Colts are in the 4. So trading with the Cardinals would get you in the 3 spot. And if you're the Cardinals, if you can get more draft capital and you're not going after a quarterback, then I think that's a good trade for you.
Yeah.
And the Colts in the 4 spot, they sit there. They'll get obviously Will Levis or Anthony Richardson. But do you feel strong enough about either one of them? Like I like the Titans taking Richardson because they, if you're the Titans and you get Richardson, I trade Derrick Henry also, and I just rebuild and we start looking towards the future.
But is Anthony Richardson just going to be – is he going to be that much better than Malik Willis?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, but I don't have a real reason for that. I just think his intangibles are better than Malik Willis, and I think he will be better. But
gotcha.
I could definitely see them. But I think you do that. You keep Tannehill maybe one more year or trade him, see what you can get. Trade Derrick Henry, and you just start the rebuild.
Start rebuilding, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe sign a cheap quarterback for 1 year while Richardson learns, and then that's just the end of that. So,
okay, I understand.
That's what I think. So, Raj, we always seem to talk about the Lamar Jackson thing.
Yeah.
And it just has layers. Deion Sanders has tried to talk to him. Like, it just keeps going and going. So, my question to you, going into this whole little saga and with him, where do you rank Lamar as a quarterback? Top 5?
Wow.
Top 10?
That is a very good question. I would say.
Raj, I don't ask bad questions.
You don't. Herb does that. T-shirt alert. T-shirt alert. Oh, man.
Ask bad questions.
Top 5, top 10. I'm trying to think of all the quarterbacks that I would rank ahead of him. I think Lamar might be between 10 and 15. And I'm thinking, and let me think out loud. So,
all right.
And I'm not putting these names in order. I'm just naming the quarterbacks that I probably would have ahead of him.
Right.
Josh Allen, Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. Now, again, these are not.
So the Josh Allen one is always crazy. Not crazy.
Right.
I'm sorry. I hate that word. It's interesting to me because they play a similar style.
They do.
But has Josh Allen accomplished more than Lamar Jackson? Lamar Jackson has been an MVP. So we're just saying based on, hey, I think maybe he's a better thrower. I would counter
Josh Allen? Didn't the Bills make it to almost to the AFC Championship game?
No, they lost because remember
they lost to Kansas City.
They lost to the Chiefs, and then the Chiefs lost to the Bengals.
The Bengals. You're right. To answer that question, I think individually, no, but as a team, I think the Bills have a better chance to make it to the Super Bowl.
But that doesn't put him as so. If you put Lamar Jackson on the Bills right now, are they better or worse or the same?
I think they're worse.
See, here's
the only thing that can really back up what I'm saying is if I give you the completion percentage and those numbers that I don't have in front of me right now.
But see, that's people are going to throw that out, and what I'm going to throw back at you is Lamar Jackson has never had a Stephon Diggs or like a Gabe Davis
right.
or that infrastructure around him, even Knox, over there tight end.
Right.
The Ravens have made themselves into a run-first team, and then they sit back and say, well, he's not developed as a passer.
Right.
And one of my reasons why I asked this was I feel like every quarterback that you mentioned, now there's some that are just, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football right now. Let's just go with that. But you look at a guy Hurts. What did they do for his development? Draft, Devontae Smith. Trade for AJ. So they have done things to further his development. Lamar does not have a top 20, top 30 wide receiver on his team ever. Right. So it's hard for me to just go, this is where he slots in, this ain't where he slots in,
So who do you think would finish the season, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson?
Lamar Jackson.
Healthy.
Yes.
This might be our first disagreement on the Herb and Raj podcast. This
that's
is epic.
That's fine. Because he runs, right? And he hasn't finished the last two.
No, I'm not going to say that because Josh Allen runs too. Josh Allen takes a lot of hits.
And here's Lamar is top 10, but not top 5. I would probably agree with that.
Yeah.
I just don't think that people have seen his full capabilities as a thrower because they've never developed that part of him. But go ahead. What were you going to say?
I don't know if we're going to see it because I don't know what the Ravens are looking at drafting in this draft. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a wide receiver is a priority to your point.
Right.
I just feel like Josh Allen could take his team farther, but because it's been proven. But then again, it kind of goes either way. If Lamar is to get some help, let's see what happens. I just don't know if that's going to happen. Right. So I'm going based off what I see, and I would take Mahomes, and I know we got a certain amount of time. So I got Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. I got Trevor Lawrence before. I like Trevor Lawrence right now. I'm really, really liking Trevor Lawrence. So that's 4 right there. Don't worry, I'm not gonna say Tua. I love Tua, but
you can't just go. But Joe Burrow.
I forgot about Burrow. That's 5 right there. So maybe
Baker Mayfield.
So let's just say Lamar. I think with that said, that's 5 right there.
Did you just ignore me on air?
I think Lamar could kind of squeak into the top 10. So I'll give him that. I'll say top 10, but not top 5.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with you and Mike, even though you both are Lakers fans.
Oh, come on. It's okay.
Yeah. So, Raj, real quick, I will get into the 3 questions of death. I got to pick a baseball team by next week because it's already started.
Okay.
I'm thinking about picking an American League team and a National League team.
Okay.
Just so I'm really invested. Mike is trying to sell me on the Cardinals, which is cool because I used to love Pujols.
You did, but remember your favorite player growing up. For those that don't know,
Andre Dawson.
Andre Dawson, the Hawk, was his favorite player, which is kind of why he rooted for the Cubs. And they had, I think, Mark Grace and Ryan Sandberg too, if I remember correctly.
But yes.
Yep.
I'm not going to pick the Cubs though. That's not.
You're not going to pick the. Okay. So, like, do you have any? Are you asking because you have teams in mind, or are you just you want me to kind of help you?
I've been thinking about taking the Cleveland Guardians.
But the way you said Guardians, though, like why them?
I don't know.
Because it's Guardians.
Mike's putting in his vote. Cardinals.
Okay.
Because if I go and I'm rooting for these people, I'm getting T-shirts for both of them. I want to pick one from both sides. I went and looked at who won their divisions last year. Cleveland.
Is that how you're determining it?
I don't want to pick my first baseball team in 30 years and have them be losers.
So what about the Houston Astros in the American League?
I don't know, because of the controversy surrounding them in the past year. You don't want
to have to deal with the controversy debates.
No, I just don't. I don't want to jump in and have to defend you on day one.
Okay.
So there's a lot going on there.
And there's always the Braves. That seems to be since it's so close to Bama. So.
And that's what it seems like I should, but Atlanta is Heartbreak City. So
it is.
I don't know, man.
The Braves just won the World Series 2 years ago.
Yeah, they won it 2 years ago, but I'm biased against them because of that Super Bowl. And I know that wasn't the Braves, but
yeah,
that's the first thing I think of when it comes to Atlanta.
I got you. We'll figure it out.
Championship game up in about 26 minutes.
Yes, sir. Can't wait
to get a frosty beverage, some nice cold milk.
Yep.
Yes. So, bring on the questions, bro.
All right, 3 questions of death, and we're under time constraints here, so let's get this out of the way.
This is a good one. If you don't pick the Cardinals, pick anyone
but the Braves. Gotcha. I think Mike is thinking the same thing you are. You don't want to get hurt, emotionally caught to or emotionally attached to a team that's going to let you down.
The Braves. He just doesn't like the Braves. All right, bring on our non-sponsored. If you want your sponsorship here, 3 questions of death. Bring it on.
Number 1. All right. If we had to do a Herb and Raj podcast one Saturday morning from one non-SEC campus, where would you want to do it from?
Non-SEC campus.
Non-SEC campus.
Man, we're going somewhere like USC.
Oh, I didn't even think about yes.
UCLA. We going out west. We going out to like some warm climate. Plus they play all their games at night anyway, right?
Yep.
So
yep.
we'd have all day to party, hit
all
the
day
beach,
to party,
all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna take somewhere like USC or UCLA, even though they'll be in the Big Ten. So it might be USC versus Wisconsin. But
I don't know why the University of Oregon came to mind first. I don't know why that is.
You just want to see the cool uniforms. But I feel like USC is gonna have the more attractive scenery, like shrubs and
palm trees. Palm trees, yes.
Palm tree. Yeah. I'm really into palm trees this time of year.
Gotcha.
So that's what I'm looking forward to. So we're going out west.
All right. For our next question, before I get to the fun question, regarding the whole LeBron Jordan GOAT debate that's been on for like a half a century. No, I'm not asking that. If Michael Jordan was in his prime and he was playing in today's game, 2023, what would his stats be? Points, rebounds, and assists. Keep in mind, Jordan was a 32% three-point shooter, so keep that in mind. And what do you think his stats would be? Points, rebounds,
my counter to your 32% is he didn't shoot that many. The games he decided to shoot them, he hit them, but it wasn't.
He drove a lot.
Of the game.
You're right.
Jordan would average 35, 8 and 7, I think, easily in today's game. I just don't think people realize how today's game is suited towards scoring.
Right.
So I think he's hitting 35 a game easily. His mid-range game was amazing. But if you told him, now, do I just plop Jordan down in this and he has to develop his three-point shot a little bit more? Or is he growing up in an era where three-point shooting? Because he was a good shooter.
You take him from the 96 team, whatever, and you plop him down, or let's just say 93, because 96 he kind of came back with the fadeaway. So 93, 96, whatever, and you just throw him in there with his game.
Give him 2 years, and I think he's at least, a 37, 38% shooter.
I agree.
And I don't think people realize having to guard Jordan all the way out to the three-point line and in is just not going to work.
Right. So, he'll kill you everywhere.
Unlike certain other people who won't be mentioned. Go ahead. I'm listening. Number 3.
Last question, the fun question. Dodgeball. Let's just say there's a 5-on-5 dodgeball tournament, whatever the case may be, and you had to pick 5 players to join your team. Out of these 5 categories, who would your 5 players be? NBA, you take one NBA player, former or current. Same with NFL. Same with Major League Baseball. Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DC Universe. So you got to pick one from each universe or one from each league and put them on your dodgeball team. Who are you picking?
Okay. So Marvel, I wish you had said, did you say Marvel and DC?
Yep.
Okay. So Marvel and DC is going to be Quicksilver and the Flash. So
that makes sense. That makes sense for speed.
Yeah. And if you never want me to go Quicksilver just because he's more of a minor character, I'd probably go Captain America, or Spider-Man. Even without the webs, very agile, very, able to dodge, and would probably throw the ball and knock somebody's head off. So I'll take like Spider-Man and the Flash. Those 2. What was the other? NBA, NFL?
NFL, and Major League Baseball.
So NBA, I might take Muggsy Bogues.
I was not expecting that one.
Just because they would have a hard time hitting him. Otherwise, I'm not taking
he'll have a concussion or something.
That if
he gets hit in the head, anyway. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I might take somebody I'm not taking like LeBron or like Shaq. Those are just terrible choices.
Yeah,
these guys are huge. Like they would get a great throw in, but everybody would pay.
They'd be a huge target.
Yeah. So I would take somebody like that, or maybe like a Steph Curry who, as long as his ankles hold up, somebody who's a little more agile.
Okay.
But I'd probably take Muggsy Bogues.
Muggsy. So you have Quicksilver, Flash, and Muggsy Bogues.
No, I'll take Spider-Man, Flash, Muggsy Bogues.
NFL and MLB. We got 1 minute.
NFL, I'll go Jamar. I'll take Jefferson from the Vikings.
Justin Jefferson.
Jefferson. I don't know why I call him Jamar. Just because of his agility. Although Patrick Mahomes is probably a good choice because I know he can hit anybody from any angle.
And that sidearm, yes.
I'll take Mahomes. And baseball?
And remember, you can pick somebody current or past.
I'll take Ohtani or whatever from the Angels.
Yep. That's who might.
So I feel like he would because the way he plays, he would hit people and he'd be able to catch the ball really well.
Good. And I like Mike saying this. Mike has Flash, Hawkeye, Otani, Kobe, and Barry Sanders, who is just happens to be my favorite running back ever. So I like those picks, Mike. Good job, Herb. I like that one.
Yeah, you like that? I know you like the Muggsy Bogues pick though. That was
funny. That was funny.
All right, Raj.
All right,
great show, buddy. I appreciate it.
Great show.
Hope everybody enjoys the national championship game coming up right after this.
Yep.
We appreciate them for moving it back. And Jim Nantz, man, we wish you all the best, sir. You are one of the greatest.
Shout out to Jim Nantz. Maybe we'll have him on the show one day.
Yep. I'll start messaging him now. And always thanks to Mike, man. We appreciate you.
Shout out to Big Mike.
At the very beginning. The show was terrible without you, buddy. Yep. All right, for Herb and Raj, the Herb and Raj podcast. We'll see you next Monday at 7. Enjoy the championship game. But as always, roll Tide.
Roll Tide.